Hi friends, let us continue from our last session where we have dealt with resistor. There I left a small point. Let me conclude that we said like as number of collisions in material increases, then we said that resistance of that material also increases. So depending on these collisions, we can classify the materials. That is, if number of collisions are more, then that material is purely insulator. That is pure insulator, means near to insulator. If number of collisions are more, then we can say that it is insulator. If moderate collisions are there, semiconductor. If moderate collisions are there, semiconductor. And if zero collisions are there, then we can say that it is pure conductor. If zero collisions are there, then we can say that it is pure conductor. So I'll conclude resistor here. Now let us move to the next topic, which is inductor element. Now, inductor element. So one can form their own inductor element by twisting the length of wire. So by taking a length of wire and when we twist that, it forms a basic inductor element. So here we can see the symbol of inductor element. Here we can see the symbol of inductor element. So take your own wire and twist in a spherical form. It forms a basic inductor element. Now let us see working of this inductor element and its properties. Okay. So here for the inductor element, when we allow a current I, for this inductor element, when we allow a current I. Now, as soon as current I flows through this inductor element, it develops the magnetic flux phi. So, as soon as current I flows through the inductor element, it develops the magnetic flux phi. If this current is variable, then the magnetic flux developed in the inductor is also variable. Okay, if this current is variable, that is current flowing through inductor element is variable, then the magnetic flux developed in the inductor element is also variable. Here magnetic flux is indicated with phi. Okay, and now according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, if inductor element experiences change in flux, that is variable flux, then EMF E is induced in it. So for that, I'll say the statement of Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. So we shall see Faraday's law later. So here, Faraday's first law says that if a coil experiences variable flux or change in the flux, then EMF is induced in it. So here I pronounced the coil by showing the inductor element. So both are one and the same. So we can pronounce an inductor element also as coil. Okay. So according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, if the coil or inductor element experiences the variable flux, then EMF E is induced in it. EMF is nothing but electromotive force, whose units are volts. So here as current I is variable, then flux phi is also variable, then it induces EMF E in it. Suppose if current I is constant, then what happens? That we shall see during the properties of inductor. Now, so from this discussion, so here we can say that, so inductor is an element which accepts magnetic storage, because here flux whatever developed when the current I flows through the inductor element is the magnetic flux phi. So here phi in other words we can pronounce as magnetic flux. Okay. So therefore the expression for EMF induced in the inductor element E is given as L di by dt. E is equal to L di by dt. So where E is the EMF induced in the inductor according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, L, inductance of inductor. So now we shall define what is inductance. So here for time being, L is the inductance of inductor. Di by dt is the change in current which is flowing through the inductor. Means how the current flowing through inductor is changing, at what rate. Okay. Now here from, so this equation E is equal to L di by dt is the expression for EMF induced in the inductor. So here from this expression, let us define inductance of the inductor. Okay. So from this expression, what we can write L as, L is equal to E is E by di by dt. Okay. So here L we can write as L is equal to E by di by dt from this expression. So here what is E in the ratio EMF by di by dt. So inductance of the inductor element we can define in this fashion. So inductance of the inductor is the EMF induced in the inductor when the current flowing through inductor is changing at the rate of di by dt. So once again, I will repeat the definition of inductance. Inductance of the inductor is EMF induced in the inductor when current flowing through inductor element is changing at the rate of di by dt. Okay. So where the units of inductance are Henry. So here again we can differentiate that inductance is the property of inductor and inductor is the element which stores magnetic flux. Okay, so inductance is the property of inductor and inductor is the element which stores magnetic flux. Okay, and the units of inductance are Henry. Okay, now from here let us define what is 1 Henry or unit Henry. So 1 Henry we can define as 1 Henry or unit Henry. From this ratio we can define what is 1 Henry. When 1 volt of EMF is induced in the inductor when current flowing through inductor is changing at the rate of 1 ampere per second. Okay, EMF we know that it is measured in voltage, current I times seconds, means 1 volt by 1 ampere per second. That is current is changing at the rate of 1 ampere per second. Then EMF induced in the inductor is 1 volt. Then the inductance of the inductor is 1 Henry. So I'll repeat this definition once again. 1 Henry or unit Henry is defined as when 1 volt of EMF is induced in the inductor when current flowing through inductor is changing at the rate of 1 ampere per second. Okay, that is the rate of change of current is 1 ampere per second. Okay, so this is the definition of unit Henry. Next, let us see the current flowing through inductor element, power and energy. Now, from the last expression where we know that E is equal to L di by dt, from there I can write di is equal to di is equal to V E by L into dt. Okay, so I'll repeat once again. Di is equal to, I'll come back from here. Di we can write as E by L into dt. I'm cross multiplying dt to other side and L to the denominator. Okay, so E by L into dt is equal to di. Now integrating that expression on both sides. Okay, otherwise I'll write that step also here. that is di is equal to di equal to E by L into di, sorry, dt. So di is equal to E by L into dt. Now integrating on both sides. Integrating on both sides. Okay. Then what is the expression? I'll write from here. Integral of di is equal to integral of E by L into dt. Okay. So di we can write as E by L into dt, and integrating on both sides, integral di is equal to integral of E by L dt. Now here let us assume the limits are 0 to t. 0 to t. Now thereafter integrating, what we shall get? Integral I di is integral 1 di is nothing but, here integral di is nothing but I. Okay, and when we substitute the limits, it is I of t minus I of 0, I of 0, okay, which is equal to okay. So integral di, when I integrate, it is I, and substituting the limits, that is limits we assumed as 0 to t. So I of t minus I of 0, and RHS I kept as it is, integral E by L dt. Then I of t I'm writing. Then I of t. Now from this expression, what is I of t? Integral E by L into dt plus I of 0. Okay. So I of t is equal to 1 by L integral E dt plus I of 0. Okay. So this I of t is pronounced as current flowing through the inductor element. Okay. Where what is this I of 0? So here I of 0 is the initial current flowing through the inductor element. I of 0 is the initial current flowing through the inductor element. So from this expression, we can say that, so when the current flows through the inductor element, in the earlier discussion, we came to know like some magnetic flux is developed. And because of this initial current, there will be always some magnetic flux in the inductor element if it is readily used. Okay, if it is readily used, then there will be always some magnetic flux in the inductor element because of this initial current I of 0. So that's why we can pronounce that inductor is a magnetic energy storing element. Magnetic energy storing element. Okay. So suppose if there is no initial current, so if we can say initial current is 0, that is I of 0 is 0. This is possible when the inductor element is fresh inductor element. Okay, when the inductor element is fresh inductor element, then we can say that I of 0 is equal to 0. Then the expression will be simply okay. For new inductor element or fresh inductor element, I of 0 is 0. then the current flowing through inductor element is 1 by L integral E dt. Okay. Then power. So power absorbed by inductor element is, let us assume as PL, and we know that the standard expression for power is voltage of product of voltage into current. Now here what is the voltage in the inductor element? E, and current is I. So I wrote that E into I. And what is EMF induced in the inductor? We know as L di by dt. So I have substituted that L di by dt into I. So this is the expression for power in the inductor element. So later we'll come to know that this net power is always inductor in the inductor element is always 0 for a pure inductor element. Now what is the difference between pure inductor element and commercial inductor element? We shall see during the AC circuits. Okay. Then energy stored in the inductor element. So obviously we are saying that magnetic flux is developed in the inductor element. This energy what we are pronouncing is nothing but magnetic energy. So magnetic energy stored in inductor element is W is equal to integral EI into dt. What is EI here? Power. Okay, we know that energy is given as integral P dt. P is nothing but power. Now what is the power in energy inductor element? E into I. Then substitute L. Oh, sorry, substitute E. L di by dt. So dt cancels out. Then we are left with integral L into I into dt. As L is the inductance of the inductor element, it is constant. So integral I dt. What is integral I di? What is integral I di is nothing but I square by 2. So at the end, energy stored in the inductor element is half Li square. Okay, because when integrated we got I square by 2 and L is the constant here left. So half Li square. So this is the inductor energy stored in the inductor element. Okay. Now let us see the properties of inductor element. Let us see the properties of inductor element. Now, see, first property, inductor doesn't allow sudden changes in the current. Inductor doesn't allow sudden changes in the current. Now why? Now for that, let us move to the before slide. Now see here, we know that EMF induced in the inductor is L di by dt. Okay. Now sudden change in the current means there is a change in current with 0 time. Change in current with 0 time. Then what happens to the EMF? It will become infinite. Means inductor gets open circuited. Okay. If voltage is maximum or EMF is maximum, then that element is open circuited. So first statement is inductor doesn't allow sudden changes in current. First property. Now further the explanation is sudden change in current means what? There is change in current within 0 time. Means here time is 0. When time is 0, what is this? Di by dt will become infinite. Then the EMF induced will be maximum. So EMF induced maximum means inductor gets open circuited. So that's why inductor doesn't allow sudden changes in the current. Next, if DC supply is provided to the inductor, it acts as short circuit. Now for this explanation also, we'll go to the same expression. See, DC means direct current. Direct current means constant current. I'll repeat. DC means direct current, which is nothing but constant current. Now here, when the current is constant, that is I is constant, then what is di by dt is 0. Okay. When current is constant, di by dt is 0. Then EMF induced will become 0. Okay. As current I is constant, then di by dt is equal to 0. Then EMF induced is also 0. So if EMF or voltage across any element is 0, then it gets short circuited. Okay. So EMF or voltage across any element is 0, then it gets short circuited. So that is given in the second statement. That is, if DC supply is provided to the inductor, it acts as short circuited. Next, pure inductor is non-dissipative element. That is, its internal resistance is 0. So what we have seen in the first slide, the inductor element, it has only one property, inductance. So in the case of inductance, there is only energy stored. There is no energy loss. Now, in our last session, that is in our last video, we have seen when will be the energy loss takes place if there exists resistance property for that element. Now, by observation here, this inductor element does not have any resistance property. Then we can say that this inductor element is non-dissipative element. Okay, this inductor element is non-dissipative element because it has zero resistance. Suppose if inductor has zero resistance, then if inductor has any sort of resistance, then it is no more non-dissipative element. Definitely there will be some loss of energy. Then that inductor element is called as commercial inductor element. So here we can give the difference between pure inductor element and commercial inductor element. That is, pure inductor element has zero resistance, commercial inductor element has some resistance. Okay, so in the case of pure inductor element, there is no energy dissipation, means there is no loss of energy. Whereas in the case of commercial inductor, as it possesses some resistance property, there will be always some energy loss. Okay, so our third statement says the same thing. That is, pure inductor is non-dissipative element because it has zero internal resistance. And from the starting, we are saying that inductor stores energy in the form of magnetic field. Okay, so these are the properties of inductor element. So I'll repeat once again, formulas of inductor. So inductance of the inductor element is given as E by di by dt. EMF induced in the inductor element is L di by dt. Current flowing through inductor element is I of t is equal to 1 by L integral E dt plus I of 0 if it is used inductor. If it is new inductor, I of t is equal to 1 by L integral E dt. That is, initial current I of 0 is 0. Then the power absorbed by inductor is L di by dt into I, and energy stored in the inductor is half Li square. Okay, so in our next session, let us see the element capacitor. Thank you.